sometimes Joe Rogan puts things in a way where a lot of other people can understand it, which is part of the reason why I think he's so popular. But I think in this specific example, Joe's starting to realize that there's a pattern here and that these things happen regularly and that none of this is happening by coincidence. But yeah, Andrew Schulz was on the Joe Rogan podcast, and him and Joe Rogan had this to say.
Bro, that administration is all in on that stuff in such a hardcore way that he got interviewed by Dylan Mulvaney.
Yeah, and he thought that was a woman.
And I've been a girl for 350 days. He's like, oh, God bless you. God bless you. That's what he said. Did you ever see that interview?
No.
Oh, it's wild. No. It's wild.
But like, I think none of us really believe he's making the decisions, right? He's just like a puppet for the...
Yeah.
And he's just there to get lambasted when all these things happen.
Yeah.
And then he forgets about it immediately afterwards.
Yeah, he doesn't know. He's the perfect guy to blame for things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why he's there. That's why you get the 80-year-old dude.
But the idea that they're going to keep running him is just bananas.
I mean...
You're going to keep him in there? I can't believe that's real, but as time goes on, I'm starting to think they might actually keep running him.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why that they would switch him out. They're not in a position they can switch him out for anybody. Who steps in?
Well, he would have to kick
not
the
Kamala.
bucket. No, not Kamala, but he would have to kick the bucket.
And then they just slide Newsom in or somebody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
You think that's what they're hoping for secretly? May.
I think he's got until May.
No way.
I feel like right around May they're going to pull him.
No way.
You want to talk about election interference. Mm-hmm. So forget about mail-in ballots. Forget about all that stuff. Yeah. Access to information will affect election.
For example?
When the government steps in and tells Twitter to censor the Hunter Biden laptop story.
Yeah.
That laptop story, let's say they went all in, they distributed it to all the media, and then Fox News starts telling you all the evidence that shows that Biden was getting kickbacks and he's the big guy and 10% and all this money that went from millions of dollars in Burisma and all these. Where's that money gone?
Yeah.
Where were the contracts?
Yeah.
What's happening? How does he have this job teaching for $1 million a year where he doesn't even show up? Like what is all of this
That's the
stuff?
game.
Like what is this?
That's the game.
And if that got into fence sitters, people are like, I don't know, Trump's kind of gross, but Biden's old. But I'm still going to vote for Biden because Trump's a bad guy. And then, oh, my God, Biden's a bad guy. Trump might be the answer. You know what? We were fine while he was in office. Let's run with him. Yeah. I mean, it's basically election interference because you're withholding information that would be detrimental to the person that you want to win. You're interfering.
Absolutely election interference.
So anybody said there's no election interference. That is election interference. And then you have Google search results, which Robert Epstein in his research has shown that Google search results, I know, right? Google search results have shown that you can manipulate, and with his research, you can manipulate the search results through the algorithm, and that will like highlight negative stories about the people that you want to be negative or positive stories about the people you want to be positive, and it can have an overall effect on how people vote. Because most people are surface information gatherers. They read headlines like, got it, and then they go with it. And the headline might be horseshit, and you might get into the article. I mean, we've done that so many times. But wait a minute. This specifically says that that's not true. So what are they saying in the article? Complaints of. Oh, it's a complaint of. But then you get into it, you're like, oh, but it's not real.
Joe Rogan is 100% correct here. Information absolutely has the ability to completely sway an election from one side to the other, especially when it is such important information, such as, information of criminal activities. It most definitely has the power to persuade many people one way or to vote one way or another. And withholding that information is absolutely election interference, because it's been proven the only reason that this information was withheld from the public was because Biden was campaigning for president of America. So it's purely political reasons as to why the stories were suppressed. And that's not the only story. There's so many more. I'm sure y'all have heard many stories that were suppressed that shouldn't have been. And I'd like to go a little bit further than where Joe Rogan went, because the real cause of this problem is a little bit deeper. In my opinion, it's actually the government that's the cause of this problem, because it's the big tech platforms like YouTube, Google, Amazon, web services, Facebook, Instagram. Those are the companies that are actually banning people and silencing people and suppressing speech. But who are they doing it for? Who is paying them to do this? Well, it's the government. Because think about it. All those big tech platforms, who's their biggest customer? The government. No other company and or organization buys as much data from these corporations as the government, which is a complete violation of our Fourth Amendment rights against unreasonable search and seizure. Because just because the government is buying all of our data from a corporation that is harvesting it, that still counts as unreasonable search because there's no reason for the search to be happening. The government doesn't have a warrant, and they're searching through everyone's data. I know there's a whole group of people out there that say, well, if you got nothing to hide, you got nothing to fear. But you do realize that our founding fathers put this amendment in the Bill of Rights as number 4, as in there were only 3 other things that they viewed as more important than this human right, that they viewed as a right given to humans by God, not by government. So it's anti-American. It is illegal, and it is unconstitutional that this has been happening in this country for as long as it has. We need government reform and government reckoning on these specific topics. The government does not need to be in control of what people say, think, and do. The government is to serve the people. The people are not here to serve the government. Don't forget to leave a like on this video, subscribe to this channel, and follow me on Rumble.